2 years. So here we are in our beloved, cozy sanctuary at the start of a brand new year. And I want to send a special shout out to those who are joining us online. We feel your presence here as well. And you may have noticed that I am standing here alone without my sacred partner, Rabbi Carrie. She is here with us on Zoom, along with many of you, and we will hear her voice later in the service and throughout Rosh Hashanah services tomorrow as well. But unfortunately, she tested positive for COVID yesterday afternoon. So thanks to the skill of our amazing tech team and their magic that they make, she is able to be with us from the safety of a screen. I know that each one of us wishes her and David, who is a few days ahead of her in recovery, a speedy and complete healing, a refuah shlema. So this is a time of precariousness, and it is a time of resilience, side by side, hand in hand. And I imagine that most, if not all of us, have had direct experience with both, and often in the same moment. Perilousness and possibility. Nothing is quite what it was, and planning often feels like improvisation at best, and at worst, like an exercise in futility. But we have shown up, and we continue to show up with the resilience that Rabbi Carey calls comic stubbornness. As a community, we figured out that if we can't come to synagogue in year one of a global pandemic, we'll switch to Zoom. If sitting in an indoor sanctuary doesn't feel safe, no problem. We'll put up a tent in the backyard and stream to you. And if we still can't get Shir Chadash, our temple choir, to sing together indoors safely, well, we'll gather some of our choir members together and record outdoors. We are here, we are strong, and nothing is going to keep us from doing what we do best. Shir Tikvah, we are a song of hope. We will sing, and please do sing as loudly as you can, as my voice is still in recovery from my bout of COVID about 2 weeks ago. Again, an example of that precariousness and resilience standing side by side. So we will sing, we will pray, we will celebrate, we will mourn, and we will reflect on our lives. As Rabbi Rim used to say, we will create a symphony of the soul from this very beginning moment until the final blast of the shofar at the end of Yom Kippur, and then onward to the joy of Sukkot and Simchat Torah. Together, Shir Tikvah, we can do anything. 5783, here we come. How good it is to be together on this day.
Nei matov umanayim teredachim gam yachad. Nei matov umanayim teredachim gam yachad. How good it is, how good it is, how sweet it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is, how good it is, how sweet it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. Nei matov umanayim Sheberakim Gam Yachad Hinei matov umanayim Sheberakim Gam Yachad. How good it is, how good it is, how sweet it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is, how good it is, how sweet it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. Hinei matov umanayim Sheberakim Gam Yachad. Hinei matov umanayim Sheberakim Gam Yachad.
I'm so pleased to call up our very courageous temple president, who has been sorely tested in her 1 year of presidency, Amy Travis, along with Tim Blackman, to come up for a reading and the lighting of the candles.
Teshuvah by Rabbi Graham Yosef. It's the season of revelation. First, the colors the leaves have been hiding all summer.
Then bare branches reaching towards the fading light as leaves drift in bright flocks downward.
The year's gate opening on loud hinges startles me each year, and this one is no different.
I snap to attention. I am right here. I am listening.
And still, I find myself thinking of springtime when out by the marshy pond, bright heads on thin stems will strain upwards.
Because it will be the season for what's been unseen to return to the visible world.
Oh God, this winter may I not forget that it is possible for my feet to stir up the mud as I walk.
Deeper in the woods, skunk cabbages will line the wet hollows, more of the plant below the water than above.
Help me to remember that new growth is as fierce as it is fragile.
Oh God, my memory is smaller than a snowdrop.
Return me, please, to what I need to know.
Amen. We turn to page 11. It's a flameless lighter. Yeah, put it right, the wick right in the middle of it. It matches too. We're writing an air draft, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlek ner shel yom tov. Thank you, both of you. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. Turn to page 13. This autumn night, the shades of darkness in the sky are signs of Earth's turning, the fleeting ways of nature. And we, drawn together in this holy house, filled with New Year's hope and light, turn our hearts toward you in prayer, in worship, seeking life's essence. In the presence of your love, we feel the nearness of those who bless our lives, even in death. Precious memories of their love restore our strength, renew our faith in life's goodness. We acknowledge with gratitude the life we've been given, the bounty that sustains us, the comfort in sickness and sorrow, the compassion in valleys of despair. God of years, God of eternity, bless us now and always. Bless our homes and our families. Be with us in our dreams and in our hopes. Be with us through these days of awe as we search our souls within and seek the lasting shelter of your love. Page 15. תקעו בחורש שופר בכסה ליום חגנו כי חוק לישראל הוא כי חוק לישראל הוא כי חוק לישראל הוא משפט לאלוהי יעקב. At the new moon, at the full moon, for our feast day, sound the shofar, for that is the law of Israel, the way of the God of Jacob. On page 19, the official announcement of this new year. Eloheinu ve'Elohei avoteinu ve'imotenu yehi ratzon shenizkeh levirchotecha bishnat 5,783 Elohei olam barech otanu ve'et kol Beit Yisrael בחידוש ימינו בשמחה ובשלום, בנחמה ובאומץ לב, בחילוץ עצמות וברוח איתנה. יהי פרי שפתנו, מקובל ורצוי מפניך, בפרוס השנה החדשה, לעד מודים אנחנו לך, על מתנת החיים. Our God and God of our ancestors, may we know your blessings in the year 5,783. Eternal One, bless us and the whole house of Israel with renewed life, with happiness and peace, comfort and courage, resilience and strength. May the words of our heart be acceptable to you in the new year that stretches before us. We are forever grateful for the gift of life. And we turn now to the official beginning of our Ma'ariv, of our evening service, with the words of the Baruch Hu on page 20. And I invite you to rise in body or in spirit. Yai da da da, yai da da, yai da da, yai da da, yai da da da. Yai da da, yai da da da, yai da da. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. On page 24, words of Ahavat Olam, love beyond all space and time. Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amecha ahavta, Amecha ahavta. Torah u'mitzvot, Ukim u'mishpatim, Otanu lemadeta, Otanu lemadeta. Al ken Adonai Eloheinu b'shokbenu uvkumenu natziach bechukecha v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha uv'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed. Ki ehem chayenu le'orech yameinu uvahem nege yomam v'layla, nege yomam v'layla. Ve'ahavatecha al tasir mimenu le'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai Ohev Amo Yisrael. Now it is starting to feel like New Year's. And with the words of the Shema on page 26, we call out not to God, but to each other, to listen for, to hear, to understand the interconnectedness, the interdependence of all beings. We are witnesses to the unfolding of creation. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Please be seated. We will continue with Ve'ahavta on page 28. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha ve'hayu ha'devarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavacha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha uv'lechtecha v'derech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha ukshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot bein einecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'recha leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'tem kedoshim lelohechem Ani Adonai Elohechem Asher hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim lihiot lachem lelohim Ani Adonai Elohechem. The bottom of page 33. You have stayed long enough in this place, God said. Time to go forward. Turn your face to the future. Believe that you can cross this sea and survive. Inside you is a Moses. Within you, Miriam dances unafraid. Lift up your voice and sing a new song. Continue with Micha Mocha on page 34. Micha Mocha ba'elim Adonai Mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh nora tehilot osef ele malchutecha ra'uvanecha bokei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam Zeli anu ve'ameru Adonai imloch leolam va'ed ve'nemar kifada Adonai et Yaakov וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. Bless our sleep with peace and awaken us to life when we rise. Ufros aleinu sukkot shalomecha. Spread over us your sukkah of peace, your shelter of shalom. Please join me in singing, "Oh, guide my steps." Oh, guide my steps and help me find my way. I need your shelter now. Rock me in your arms and guide my steps and help me make this day a song of praise to you. Rock me in your arms and guide my steps. Ufos aleinu sukkot shlomecha. Ufos aleinu sukkot shlomecha. All right, all you high voice people, take that ufros aleinu part. The rest of us will do "Oh, guide my steps." Here we go. Oh, guide my steps and help me find my way. I need your shelter now. Rock me in your arms and guide my steps and help me make this day a song of praise to you. Rock me in your arms and guide my steps. Oh, guide my steps. Oh, guide my steps. Well, this confirms my suspicion that all of Shir Tikvah is really a choir. It was absolutely beautiful. We turn to page 40. Rising in body or in spirit for the Chatzi Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah ve'alma divrach chirutei ve'amlich malchutei v'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayetechon Beit Yisrael ba'agala uvizman kariv v'meru amen Yehi Shmei Rabba mevarach le'alam u'lalmei almaya Yitbarach Yitbarach V'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar, v'yitromam, v'yitnaseh, v'yithandar, v'yitaleh, v'yitalal, shemei dekudesha, brichu, Le'ela ule'ela mikol birchata v'shirata shushbechata v'nechemata damiran v'hama v'meru We remain standing for the Amidah. which begins on page 42 and shockingly goes all the way through page 70. Together we'll chant the first two brachot, and then I invite you to continue your prayers, either using the words in the machzor or the words found in your own heart. Feel free to be seated when you're ready, or to stand by a window and look out at the beautiful Winchester Center and our beautiful pond. And we begin with the words, Adonai Sifatai Tiftach, taken from Psalm 51. Sifatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avoteinu ve'imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak ve'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor V'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim Ve'Konei Hakol Ve'Zocher Chasdei Avot Ve'imahot Umevi Ge'ula Livnei V'neihem Lema'an Shemo Be'ahava Zochreinu lechayim, melech hafet b'chayim, v'chad ve'inu b'sefer hachayim, lemancha Elohim chayim, melech ozer u'moshia u'magen. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'Ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechaye hakol atah Rav lehoshia. Mechalkel chayim bechesed, Mechaye hakol berachamim rabim. Somech noflim verofeh cholim, umatir asurim, umekayem emunato lishem afar, micha mocha ba'al gevurot, Umido melach, melech memit umechayeh, umatzmiach Yeshua, michamocha el harachamim, zocher yitzorav lechayim berachamim, ve'ne'eman ata lahachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai mechayeh hakol. Peace, profound and lasting, all-embracing, bless us and all who dwell on this earth with the gift of peace. Turn to Shalom Rav at the top of page 66. Try that again. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. אתה הוא מלך אדון לכל השלום. כי אתה הוא מלך אדון לכל השלום. וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. ברוך אתה אדוני עושה השלום. It has been 3 years since we have had live musicians in our services. We've had many videos, and it is so wonderful to call you up, Diane, to get ready for Misha Berach. But while we are still in the midst of the sacred quiet of the Amidah, we turn to page 72. May the Eternal One who blesses all life bless and strengthen each one of us who struggle against illness. May we whose lives are touched by illness be blessed with faith, courage, love, and caring. May we experience the support and the sustenance of family, friends, companions, and community. May we be granted restful nights and days of comfort. We pray for a refuah shlema, precious moments of healing, and a sense of wholeness in body and soul. May those who care for the sick with their hands, their voices, and their hearts be blessed with courage and stamina. May those who pursue healing through medical skill and knowledge be blessed with insight, patience, and compassion. May all of us, the sick and the well together, find courage and hope. And let us say, Amen. Please raise your hand if you would like to call out the name of a loved one in need of healing, of mind, body, or spirit. And if you are joining us on Zoom or the other online places, please add the names of your loved ones in need of healing into the chat. I would be honored to call on you. You will find the words to this setting of Misha Berach, the Debbie Friedman setting, on page 245. Diane is going to start us off instrumentally, and then we'll all join in. Mekor habracha ha'imotenu, may the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. We turn back to page 70 for Oseh Shalom. May the one who makes peace in the heavens help us to make peace right here. Oseh Shalom. Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. May the one who makes peace above make peace descend on all of us, on all of us and Yisrael. Let us say, all right, let's break it down into a round. Oseh shalom v'roma, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. May the one who makes peace above make peace descend on all of us, on all of us and Yisrael. Let us say amen. Let us say amen. Let us say amen. When Rabbi Carey learned that David had tested positive for COVID on Wednesday, she had the great presence of mind to call Don Abrams, our miracle worker, and to record her sermons for Rosh Hashanah, just in case. We thought we had made it until late yesterday afternoon. So it is with great joy that I present you with words from our rabbi.
You know those memes that are in the internet, the ones that highlight the person we want to be versus the person we are? That image often pops into my head when I'm reading the news in the morning. In the ferocious, tiger-like version of myself, I see myself holding up a handmade sign with big bubble letters that read, "There is a time and a place for prayer." Wow, this ain't it. No, I don't daydream of protesting Rosh Hashanah services. Instead, in my fantasy, I'm protesting at a local football game in light of the Supreme Court's ruling on Bremerton that allowed a public school coach to pray on the field after games. As the fantasy of my ferocity continues, my protest moves to the steps of the Supreme Court. I picture myself right up in front of a sea of people. Every Reform Jew in America is there. Reform Judaism has a lot to say about many recent decisions released by the court. That's why I conjured us on those steps. I want those judges to know that we are many, we are loud, we are powerful, and we are united in our dismay. I am clearly in a fantasy. Right now, in America, Christian men are telling us who is and who is not fully American, white Christian men. And according to them, if you are in this community, you or your family probably do not make the A-list. All of us who are gathered to celebrate Rosh Hashanah this evening, Jewish, Jew-ish, or Jewish connected, are a part of a tradition that holds certain ideals sacred. 36 times the Torah teaches that we should care about the experience of the stranger because we ourselves were strangers in the land of Egypt, which means when we read decisions like Bremerton or Kennedy or Dobbs or West Virginia versus the EPA, or read about the increased marginalization and demonification of the queer community in state legislatures, we are commanded to view these developments through the eyes of those who they hurt the most. Since 2016, most of us have lived with increased anxiety about the state of our country. In the pandemic, we have been affected by illness and loss in ways that forever changed the course of our lives. Even if your family escaped personal crisis in the last 6 years, I bet the word complicated barely covers how you describe your current reality. We are in tough times. But here's one thing I've noticed lately. The more complicated my life gets, the more I find comfort and solace in prayer. Prayer is one of those words like God. Everybody who hears it hears something different. I spend a lot of time praying, and the nature of my prayer is ever changing. So when Bremerton made me angry, made me worry about the ever increasing encroachment of Christian values on our society, I decided to sit a while and consider my current relationship to prayer. I'd like to invite you to consider your relationship along with me. During these past few years, have you found yourself in need of quiet contemplation? Were there moments when you wanted to scream at the universe? Times when you yearned for strength or health or well-being? If the answer to any of those questions is yes, then in my current definition, you've been praying. Let me explain. Anne Lamott, whose theory on prayer I think holds for the Jewish community, teaches that all prayer can be boiled down to 3 essential words: help, thanks, and wow. When we take the time to express these 3 basic human truths, we allow ourselves to acknowledge our authentic experience. When we learn to ask for help, we admit that we are scared and in need. When we express gratitude for that which is given to us, we expand our ability to notice how much goodness is available, even in the most awful of circumstances. And when we allow ourselves to be amazed, to feel awe and wonder, we just begin to understand our place in the universe. In short, help, thanks, and wow allow us to more fully embrace what it is to be human. We all have our own way of saying these words, but often those moments can go by unnoticed or unacknowledged. When I said that in the last 6 years, I have learned the importance of prayer in my own life, I mean in part that I have started seeking out these words in my internal monologue and trying to acknowledge when I hear them. When I feel like I'm about to cry, I take a moment to put a hand to my heart and acknowledge my need for help. I'm tough on my kids about their manners. I remind them constantly to say please and thank you when somebody offers them something. And while I don't tend to forget my own pleases and thank yous, I'm still retraining myself to say thanks for the gifts that are less obvious. I'm practicing expressing gratitude first, even when the situation is difficult. If I notice beauty, I make it stop what I'm doing, even if just for a second, and say it out loud. Wow. When I work on paying attention to my help, my thanks, my wow, another teaching by Anne Lamott, who's obviously one of my favorite authors, rings true. Prayer, she says, can help us open our hearts to someone in trouble, can help us create more love, and afford us a less grippy clench in our little corner of the universe. Remember, way back at the beginning of the sermon, when I told you about the tiger I want to be, but I'm not? I actually spend a fair amount of time disappointed in myself for that fact, convinced that I'm not doing enough to stand up for those who need me. When I pray, I find myself able to let go of some of that self-recrimination. I can then use the energy I've freed up to affect greater good. Essentially, I pray, I feel less internal resistance, and then I return to the world with renewed energy and power. And in this difficult world, being in a place of less grippy clenching and greater energy feels better. So in some ways, because of Bremerton, I find myself saying, let's get praying, just not on the 50-yard line of a public school football game. I stand with you this evening. Well, if you're watching the video version of this, I'm not standing with you this evening. but I am praying with you this evening and invite you to consider, what are your prayers this year? What do you need help with? What are you grateful for? And what are you in awe of? For me, knowing that there are members of our community filling our sanctuary with prayer, and that we are able to join through the technology that has been holding our community together as we enter 5783, I have to stop and say it. Wow. Shana Tova.
Yasher Koach, Rabbi Carey. Thank you for those beautiful words. Wondering if there are 2 volunteers who would like to come up to open the ark. Oh, thanks, you guys. Nice to see her. We're sending our love to you, Rabbi Carey, and to David, with hopes for your healing. We're at the bottom of page 75. And I invite you to read responsively with me. I'll read the unindented lines and invite you to read the indented lines, beginning with the words Avinu Malkeinu. Avinu Malkeinu, sustain our souls. Send rain to our roots. Help us find a way to pray. Make us humble and forgiving of ourselves and one another. Avinu Malkeinu, renew these words. Help us speak them with conviction and believe their truth. 100 generations have stood before the ark, and they lifted up their voices like flame on the altar, and they put their trust in kindness and justice, and they gave their strength to make the promise real. Avinu Malkeinu, we haven't forgotten you. Avinu Malkeinu, bring us back to you. Turn to page 76. And we'll chant together responsively, your choice, Hebrew or English or both, paying attention to the phrases that especially touch our hearts. I invite you to rise in body or spirit. Avinu Malkeinu, ein lanu melech ela ata. Avinu Malkeinu, almighty and merciful, you alone are our sovereign. Avinu Malkeinu, lemancha rachem aleinu. Avinu Malkeinu, for your sake show us mercy. Avinu Malkeinu, aset imanu lema'an shemecha. Avinu Malkeinu, act toward us as befits your name. Avinu Malkeinu, shlach refuah shlema l'cholei amecha. Avinu Malkeinu, bring healing and wholeness to the ill among us. Avinu Malkeinu, kararo agezar dinenu. Avinu Malkeinu, allay the harshness of the decree against us. Avinu Malkeinu, kodvenu b'sefer geula v'shua. Avinu Malkeinu, inscribe us in the book of redemption and renewal. Avinu Malkeinu, zochrenu b'zichron tov lefanecha. Avinu Malkeinu, remember our goodness and call it to mind. Avinu Malkeinu, aseh lemancha v'hoshienu. Avinu Malkeinu, act for your sake and save us. Avinu Malkeinu, shema kolenu. Avinu Malkeinu, almighty and merciful, hear our voice. Avinu Malkeinu, chatanu lefanecha. Avinu Malkeinu, we have strayed and sinned before you. Avinu Malkeinu, Chamol Aleinu Va'al Ol Aleinu V'Tapenu. Avinu Malkeinu, have compassion on us and our families. Avinu Malkeinu, Kale Dever V'Cherev V'Ra'av Me'aleinu. Avinu Malkeinu, onslaught of sickness, violence, and hunger. Avinu Malkeinu, Kale Kotzar Umastin Me'aleinu. Avinu Malkeinu, halt the reign of those who cause pain and terror. Avinu Malkeinu, Kodvenu B'Sefer Chaim Tovim. Avinu Malkeinu, enter our names in the book of lives well lived. Avinu Malkeinu, Chadesh Aleinu Shana Tova. Avinu Malkeinu, renew us. Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Konenu le'anenu, Hi'ein banu masim. Aseh imanu, tzedaka v'chesed. Aseh imanu, tzedaka v'chesed, ve'hoshienu. Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Konenu le'anenu, Hi'ein banu masim. Aseh imanu, tzedaka v'chesed. Aseh imanu, tzedaka v'chesed, ve'hoshienu. Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Konenu le'anenu, Hi'ein banu masim. We're going to begin now to conclude this evening's service, turning to the words of Aleinu at the bottom of page 83. And this setting of Aleinu has been carefully reworded, removing some of the original language about our chosenness, and instead reminding us of our role as guardians of this earth, our lives bound together in a shared destiny with all living beings. Aleinu leshabeach la'adon hakol, la'tet gedula leotzer bereshit, shehu atzanu leshomrei ha'adama, vehu samanu lishlichei ha'torah, shehu sam chayenu itam, וגורל עלינו עם כל העולם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. At the bottom of page 84. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו be seated. Turn to a short meditation on Mourner's Kaddish at the bottom of page 88. To everything there is a season, a time for everything under the sun, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to laugh and a time to cry, a time to dance, a time to mourn, a time to seek and a time to let go. This is the time we remember those who gave meaning to our lives. This is the time we remember the bonds that tied us together, the love that we shared, and the memories that remain with us still. If you would like to share the name of a loved one whose yahrzeit it is, or who is feeling very close to your heart this high holiday season, please raise your hand. And of course, for those of you who are joining us online, we welcome the names of your loved ones in the chat function. All those we have named, for all those in our hearts, and for all those who have no one left to remember them. Let us join our voices together, becoming a community of memory as we rise in body or spirit for Mourner's Kaddish on page 90. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah ve'alma divra chirute v'amlich malchute v'chayechon uvyomechon uvchaye dechol Beit Yisrael ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam ulalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitalev v'yithalal shemei dekudesha brichu le'ela ule'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran ba'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama Rabbah min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru amen. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be for a blessing. And you may be seated. We turn back to page 79. I lift this cup for all we've learned, for all we've struggled through, for challenges surmounted and disappointments met with courage, for last moments shared with those we loved and lost, for parents and grandparents whose memories are with us forever. I lift this cup for the year that is gone and for this new year just beginning. May we meet it with strength in the embrace of community, with love and in hope. Please join me for Kiddush at the bottom of page 79. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher bachar banu mikol am veromemanu mikol lashon v'kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'titen lanu Adonai Eloheinu be'ahava et yom hazikaron hazeh Yom Teruah Mikra Kodesh Zecher Litziat Mitzrayim Kivanu Vacharta Ve'otanu Kidashta Mikol Hamim Udavarcha emet v'kayam la'ad Baruch atah Adonai melech al kol haaretz mekadesh Yisrael ve'yom hazikaron. We also have a beautiful round challah here. And I feel just a little tiny bit guilty saying motzi because we don't actually have any food after the service because we are not allowed to eat in the building quite yet. But maybe this motzi, Ellen, can serve as a motzi for when you get home to have some apples and honey or maybe a late dinner or some nash of some sort. So this is our beautiful round challah for the new year. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. So it has been absolutely wonderful to kick off this new year with all of you tonight. Some of us will be meeting together in person at Winchester Hall at 10:30 tomorrow morning, and some of you will be joining us online. Our Aleph service begins at 8 a.m. and our Kehillah service begins at 9 a.m. at the First Congregational Church down the street. There are so many people to thank for the extraordinary effort that it has been to figure out yet another new plan for how to navigate this challenging time. Suffice to say for now, if you should see Michael Glicksman or Linda Singer-Burke, please know that they have spent countless hours making order out of chaos. I'd like to thank our valiant tech team. We could not do any of this without you. To our ritual committee chairs led by Miriam Lansky, our safety committee and our ritual committee led by Ellen Cohen, to Martha Berman, Judy Lebo, to our extraordinary temple president, Amy Travis, We are all in this together, thank God, and how very blessed we are. L'shana tova umituka, may this be a sweet year. And our mini choir is going to have the last word tonight.
L'shana tova tikateinu, L'shana tova tikateinu, L'shana tova, L'shana tova, L'shana tova, tikateinu, L'tikateinu.
Shana tova, everyone. Miriam, should people leave their, you can leave your machzor right on your chair because we will be back right here on Tuesday morning for second day of Rosh Hashanah. Good night, everyone.